Welcome into another edition of the Belhaven Blazers Coaches Show. I'm Kenneth Nash. Joining me as always, head coach Blaine McCourt. Coach, thanks for jumping on.
Thanks for having me.
The Blazers picked up a big-time 35-20 homecoming win over McMurray this past weekend. There was a lot going on campus. It was senior day, family weekend, homecoming, ton of stuff going on, and some great stuff going on the football field as well. We're going to talk about that today like we normally do. We'll start there. We've got some highlights from that contest as well. We'll also take a little peek ahead to Saturday's matchup against ETBU. The Blazers head to Marshall for their final regular season game of the season, looking to secure the winningest season in Belhaven history. We'll talk about that. But Coach, we'll start with McMurray. 35-20. You guys picked up back-to-back or confirmed back-to-back winning season for the first time in program history. Let's talk a little bit about that win and just everything that was going on campus, everything that was going on in terms of on-the-field performance and senior day and recognizing all those guys. It was a great weekend.
Yeah, they did. I was really proud of the maturity that our kids showed all week. You know, when you have homecoming week and senior day all wrapped into one, there's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of extra bodies around. There's activities all week that can really take your focus off what you need to do. And I was really proud of the maturity and the professionalism that our kids showed just to keep their focus right, be able to take part in some of those things, and at the end of the day, show up and handle business on Saturday.
Yeah, you talked about this McMurray team last week, and this was a team that was looking to bounce back. They were coming off of a rough loss against Sol Ross, but you said don't kind of let that fool you. This is a good football team. We saw them come out and battle really strong, and it felt like this was maybe not the first half we've seen from Belhaven, especially here at home this season. It was, there were some times at different points where it felt like kind of fighting against yourselves a little bit. Was that kind of your interpretation? Just a little bit slow start, but then you kind of found your groove as the game went on.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. I think McMurray's probably the best team that's played on that field all year. They really are, regardless of record. Obviously we lost the game to Southwestern, but I think McMurray's a good football team.
Yeah.
I kind of compared them several times, and I even told their coach after the game, I really encouraged him, stay the course, man. You're doing it right. And he's exactly where we were 2 years ago. He's building this program. They're playing people tough and close. They're just not quite ready to get over the hump and flip some of those games. But I think McMurray's program, I got a lot of respect for them, and they've got a good future ahead of them. Yeah. So that was a good team we played. So we needed to come out and fight. And from my standpoint, it's probably about exactly how I thought the game would go in terms of flow and score separation, things like that.
Yeah, talking about the game a little bit, obviously 35-20 final score, but we talked about the implications of this game, and then obviously there's implications this week coming up. But this was a chance for you guys to get back-to-back seasons. You went 3-2 in the spring. You secured 6-win season this year, so obviously you're going to be above 500. Was that kind of in the back of anybody's mind this week going in, or was we've talked about the 1-0 mentality every week? Was that really at the forefront? Was that kind of the dominating kind of mindset coming into this game?
Well, a little bit of both. To get ourselves into that position, we did have to keep a 1-0 mindset all year. We did last week, and we will this week again. But I do think it's important when you go into games like that the kids understand the implications of the game and that new history was on the line. It gave us back-to-back winning seasons for the first time in school history, and that's significant. Because one of our goals is to have a sustained program of national provenance. Keyword there is sustained. A lot of people show up and do it for a year and disappear, but can you do it back-to-back, and then can we do it again next year? So to have back-to-back winning seasons, to solidify that on homecoming when a lot of former players were there was pretty neat. You had a lot of former players come in the locker room after the game, and we acknowledged that, and we kind of were able to thank them for laying the foundation and give our word to them that we wouldn't let them down in the future. So it was big, it was exciting, and one more this week give us the best team in the history of this school, and that's another challenge. But if you don't go 1-0 this week, it doesn't matter. So it's a both and, I guess you could say. Yeah,
let's talk about the game a little bit. Offensively, we've talked about balance all season long. This is about as balanced production-wise as you guys have been. 258 rushing yards, 256 passing yards. You guys ran the ball 37 times. You threw the ball 28 times, I believe. There's a lot of balance, and it felt like in recent weeks we kind of leaned on the running game a lot, kind of trying to dominate possession in the pace of the game. This one was a lot more of just seeing, I think, what McMurray threw your way. Was that kind of how things played out for y'all?
It was. Yeah, it was. And we had some big plays in the pass game this week for sure. It was probably as balanced as we've been. And that's a good thing. The ability to do both allows you to have a lot of confidence going into any game you play. I was watching a documentary the other day with Steve Spurrier, and he was saying, football is really simple. If they're crowded in the box, well, let's throw it, and if they're backed off, well, we'll hand it off. It's not that hard of a game. So we do want to try to take what the defense gives us and game plan that way every week. And this week it was pretty balanced and allowed us to do some things in the pass game that we didn't in the past. So we're excited about the way it turned out.
From a player's perspective, offensively, that balance, because obviously watching the game, it felt like there were times where you were reacting. McMurray would, like you said, they would load the box. They were really selling out to stop that run early, and that opened up some things in the passing game. From a player perspective, the balance that you've seen from your players, does that show the adaptability and the growth of this program and these players as individuals and as athletes?
Yeah, it does. You saw some guys like we'll see on the highlights here in a minute show up and make some plays like Fabian Carter that you haven't seen a lot, but this is a deep team offensively right now. I think the hardest place to be right now on our team is a freshman wide receiver because there's some really, really good ones on our roster playing behind some really, really good sophomores. So spring practice, we don't want to talk about that yet because we still got a game to play, is going to be fun, and there's going to be a lot of competition. So we're excited about where we are and the ability that it allows us to grow as an offense in the near future.
Now, flip the script defensively, obviously held McMurray to 20 points, came up with some timely plays. I think that was kind of the key of this week for the defense. Was I don't think it was as clean as we've seen in the past, and I think Coach Connor and that defensive unit would tell you there were moments that I think they felt they should have made plays. But they were able to come up with big stops when it was necessary, and that we know it's a senior-heavy group. Is that just a testament to the leadership of that unit?
It is. McMurray has two really good running backs. That Cam Sessions and D. Robinson are as good as you'll see in our league, probably outside of ours. I like ours a little better, but those two guys are really, really good, and we knew that they had the ability to run the ball. Early in the game, we didn't fit some things well. They came out and they tried to be physical to their credit, but kind of like we preach all the time, and Coach Connor does a great job preaching to the defense. It doesn't matter what play you just gave up; they haven't scored yet. So play the next play. Be at your best when it matters the most is a real mentality to have, and they were when it really came down to it. They made the plays when they needed to make the plays.
Yeah, they stepped up big, and special teams also stepped up really big this week. We obviously we'll see a couple of special teams play on these highlights, but Carlton Brown makes another PAT block. He's been unbelievable. You talked about Fabian Carter, who's really he's got explosive speed as a return man. He made some plays. The special teams unit set your team up on a couple of different occasions, and that really plays into that three phases of the game.
It does. And when you get late in the season, if you see your special teams play continuing to improve, that's a good thing. I feel like we've really gotten stronger in the special teams phase as the year's gone. In all 6 units, and I'm excited about that. And we definitely made some plays, so hopefully we'll do that again this week.
Yeah, you talked about the improvement, and we can go back a few weeks and we talked about there was, I think it was a Southwestern game where you talked about there were some rough moments on special teams, and you wanted to see some growth there. Certainly have seen that, and it's been really, really impressive. Before we get into the highlights, one final thing before we get into that, the atmosphere, obviously, it was about as packed a house as I think I've seen, certainly in my time at Belhaven. I'm sure you would agree in your time. That's got to be fun for you guys just to see. Obviously, there's a lot going on campus, but a lot of people wanted to come see this program on the field.
Yeah, it was neat. That's what winning does. Winning draws a crowd. Everybody wants to be a part of a winner. I worked for a guy one time that used to say no one's attracted to average, and he was exactly right. And it was really neat for our kids when we arrived at the stadium 2 hours before kickoff. When we walked from Wilson Hall over to the stadium, when we got there, there's probably 300 people on the streets just cheering us as we came in. And I haven't seen that the 4 years I've been here, and that was pretty special to see that. And then the kids' parents and some supporters out there just making noise and encouraging the guys, and I think they fed off that. It was really neat to see, and hopefully that's something that grows in the future. Then to come out, you'll see some of the clips here in the background. The stadium's absolutely packed. There's not an empty seat. And I heard a couple people telling stories about that they were texting each other saying, "Where are you? I can't find a seat." When's that ever happened here?
Exactly.
And what that is, that's a testament to success. Winning elevates the entire university. It gives people something to be proud of. The whole campus walks around feeling good about themselves, and people want to come back and be a part of it. So it was neat to see that atmosphere, and hopefully that continues.
Yeah, it was crazy. I got here even earlier than I normally do, a few hours before kickoff, and I was struggling to find a parking spot, which I don't think has happened in my time here. We've got some really,
the good news is Dr. Parrott's building you a brand new parking garage, so that won't be a problem
I'm
in the future,
more focused on that press box. That is certainly
that's certainly
my alley. We got some really good highlights, though. Obviously, there was a lot of good stuff going on. We'll take a look at those real quick. Our first highlight of the day, Mario Asagino, the quarterback, one of those seniors that got recognized, really made a nice play to jump things off and get things started. Nice quarterback run right here.
That's right. We traded 3 and outs to start with, traded punts on the first drive, and then the second drive we found our rhythm, took it down the field, and Mario capped it out, running the quarterback power here. And again, we've seen this before. It's always good to see a opposing defense go backwards in the end zone behind your quarterback. So when you've got a guy that's 6'6", 230 knocking people back, gives you a chance. So a good way to start senior day for our senior quarterback.
Yeah, certainly a theme we heard on the broadcast was that he's not afraid to lower that shoulder. Fabian Carter, we mentioned him, explosive speed. I've loved watching him in the return game this year because if he gets a lane, he's going to make a play out of it. Big time return here.
Yeah, really talented freshman in our program. A great picture there. You can see that packed house we were just talking about, and you can see where that brand new press box is going to go too. So we're excited. A lot of good stuff happening here on campus. But Fabian Carter makes a nice play up the sideline. Thought for a minute he was going to go there. Last guy there, he's got an angle on him, but allows us to start our drive at the plus 48. Anytime you can start on your side of the 50, you got a chance to score. So he set us up pretty well there.
Yeah, nice play from Fabian. Set him up nicely. Colby Blunt, we've talked about him all year as part of this kind of three-headed rushing attack that really has been dominant. He gets a rushing touchdown right here.
That's right. Yeah, I think this is about 5 plays into the drive after Fabian's kickoff return there. So we answered pretty quick. Got the ball down there close. Tried to throw a halfback pass with Brad to let him go 3 for 3. Just went through Nigel's hands there, but about 2 plays later here, run the counter. Great kick-out block here by David Turner and Bogan Brewer leading up in there to get Colby in the end zone. Don't like seeing him reaching that ball across the end zone right there. We talked about that. You got to be careful with that or that thing will go the other way in a hurry. So, but put us up 14 right there and in a good spot in the first quarter.
Yeah, nice play from Colby. We talked about the defense making timely plays. This was one of them. 4th down stop. A couple of guys get in the backfield, but Carlton Brown makes the tackle. This was a big moment in the game. It slowed down this McMurray offense that was trying to find a way back into it. Gave some momentum to the Blazers.
Yeah, I think it's 14-7 right here, and they had been driving pretty good, and we got a good stop right here. Rock Scheck-Schneider kind of held them at the point there, and Carlton came in there and cleaned it up. So good 4th down stop by our defense to give the offense a good field position again.
Yeah, the defensive stop set the Blazers up really, really nicely, and this is nice play design right here. Little slip screen out the offensive line with a little bit of trickery and some nice blocking, and then nice throw from Asagunla sets up the Blazers, and Brad takes it the rest of the way.
Yeah, we haven't been a big screen team this year, but we felt like game plan-wise, watching McMurray, there were some things there we could take advantage of, so we got the slow screen to Brad over on the sideline here. Perfect timing. They blitzed right into it on the backside, which is what you want. Our left tackle, Cole McAlpin, there does a great job cutting the edge rusher, and Mario drops it over his head. And, then he's home free for 49 yards there for a touchdown. So good job by our offensive staff there, just seeing some things throughout the week that we could take advantage of, and it came together for us.
Now, this was a play that I felt really kind of swung the game, where it felt like you guys really got a grasp on the game. A big opportunity here. You had missed a couple of shots downfield. Mario makes a really good play here. Great throw. One of probably the better throws of his career. Opens the shoulders up. He gets hit as he delivers a strike to Fabian Carter in the end zone.
Yeah, we were in 2-minute mode here. It's 21-14 just before the half. We wanted to try to get one more in, put it at 2 scores at the halftime, and sprint out to the left. Usually not a route we would call going to the left because Mario does have to flip his shoulders, but we figured, what the heck, let's take a shot.
Yeah.
And protection broke down a little bit. He shook a tackle and was able to get loose, and just the play that Fabian made on that ball is incredible. Mario threw it as high and far as you could throw it, and we were kind of joking. It's like he caught a satellite coming out of the sky. I mean, he just ran that thing down and made a great play. And that's twice Fabian showed up here on the highlights, and he's a really promising freshman that can run, and he's got great hands, and we're excited about what he's going to do here for 3 years to come.
Yeah, and there's certainly nothing easy about that play, but when your receiver does have that kind of separation, it leaves you a lot of room for error. You can just kind of put it up there and let them go get it. Back to the defense right here. Connor Fordham coming in, making a nice tackle for loss. He was a little bit quiet in the first half, really showed up in the second half.
Yeah, Connor was showed some passion there in the second half and kind of said enough's enough with letting these guys march up and down the field on us, and kind of took things into his own hands there, made a nice play there behind the line of scrimmage. I think he leads the ASC in tackles for loss right now. Yeah. And he's having just a phenomenal season, and just a passionate vocal leader, and he's fun to watch.
Yeah, big play from Connor. This was another one of those special teams plays we talked about. Carlton Brown is having an unbelievable year on special teams, and it's got a number of blocks. Comes with another one right here. Gets in there, gets a hand on this, and keeps the point off the scoreboard.
Yeah, it seems like we don't go a week without having a real highlights with Carlton blocking a kick. I mean, I've really never seen anything like it. Every now and then you'll find a kid that's got a knack for it, but I've never seen anybody block kicks the way Carlton does. I mean, every time they line up, if they make one or it gets off, I'm almost shocked because he's so good at it. And what a weapon that is, and that really was a big play in the game because it was a 2-score game, but it forced it to 15 points.
Yeah.
So now you have a little bit more comfort knowing that if they score twice, they've got to go for 2 on one of them, and your chances are a little bit better. So that's bigger than some people may think, just blocking a simple extra point. That really adds up as it goes.
Yeah, it does, and he's like you said, he's been really, really good at it all season long. Brad Foley, we saw him catch a touchdown pass earlier. He had a big game, 3,000 career rushing yards. He crossed that mark in this one. First Blazer ever to do that. This was a big part of it. 49-yard touchdown run right here, just explodes through the gap and really goes untouched after he gets past the initial line.
That's right. 2 of the last 3 weeks, same play, inside zone. Brad's just hit it front side and been able to take off with it. So he reads it really well, and when he clears the line of scrimmage, he can go.
Yeah.
He was a man on a mission Saturday.
Yeah.
There's some plays that aren't on this highlight clip where he is just running over, twisting, turning, dragging people, just fighting for yards. And he's a guy that is truly soaking up every minute of the last couple of weeks of his career. And it's kind of humbling and neat to watch, just that he's a man possessed right now. So really happy for what he's done, and he earned every one of those 3,000 yards.
Yeah, he went for over 160 in this game. We know how phenomenal a running back he is. Got one more week. I think he's chasing 200 is what he said.
That's right.
But he's got one more.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, but he's been phenomenal this year. Another big play right here. This is Emmanuel Stanley getting in the backfield, tackle for loss, and force the fumble on the play. He's a guy we've talked about off and on, but we know how talented he is. He makes a big play here.
He is. Yeah, this was a big play here. It's a 15-point game right now, as we mentioned. And, they're starting to get a little drive together again. Emmanuel comes in there, reads that thing really well, sits behind the nose and makes a play and knocks the ball loose to give the offense good field position again. So another freshman that's got a lot of really good football ahead of him.
The Blazers did force a turnover in this one. Late in this one, it was a deep ball. Corey Tolliver kind of playing that safety, that deep safety role. He read this brilliantly and made a really nice play to hold on to this pick.
Yeah, a beautiful play here by our free safety, Corey Tolliver. And, the ASC puts out Player of the Weeks every week, but we have one in-house as well, who's our Player of the Week. Our Defensive Player of the Week this week was Corey Tolliver, not for the interception, but the way he led our defense on the field. He's kind of your quarterback back there, identifying personnels and formations, getting everybody lined up. He did a great job communicating the calls from the sideline to the guys on the field, and really smart, heady player back there. And I was excited to see him make a big play. Took him about 6.5 minutes to get off the field after the interception. I think he wanted to make sure everybody knew. But we were excited to see him make a play, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a big moment. It felt like that kind of iced it for the Blazers. This was the final highlight we've got. Chance Taylor gets in the backfield here, does a nice job. He kind of gets wrapped up in the initial block, does a nice job to continue pursuing the quarterback, makes a big play.
Yeah, really excited to see Chance get in there and make a play as much as anybody. Chance has really been a journeyman in our program. He's a young player, but it feels like he's been here a long time. He missed 2 full seasons with injury.
Yeah.
So this is the first time this in the spring that he's really had a chance to practice and get in there and go. Loves playing football, has got a great motor, does a great job at practice from right here in Clinton, Mississippi. And I think he's got a good future ahead of him. Like I said, he's been a journeyman, and he's just a great team guy. And the sideline was pretty fired up to see him make a play.
Yeah, it's always, like I said, it's always fun to see some of these guys get in there and just, like you said, continue to set the standard that's been set in front of them throughout the game. He made a really nice play there. Obviously, a very, very big win. You're 6-3 now on the year. You've solidified the winning season, but you've got bigger things in mind, right? You look ahead. You've got ETBU this weekend, taking on a team that has really kind of had Belhaven's number over the past few seasons. But this ETBU program is kind of they're a traditional powerhouse in this conference, traveling to Marshall with one game left this season. How are you guys feeling as a program as you get ready to take on the Tigers?
Well, our kids are excited about it. They want to go play. I think a lot of them, as soon as this game was over Saturday, they wish we were playing ETBU on Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one that when the schedule came out, everybody's like, that's a great setup for us to go to Marshall the last game of the year. They are a traditional power in our conference. The last team to have conference champion next to their name, other than Mary Hardin-Baylor, was East Texas Baptist in 2015 when they were tri-champions with them. And forever, it's been Mary Hardin-Baylor, Hardin-Simmons, ETBU third. They've been right there on the cusp of being in that group. It's a team that we've never beat. They've beaten us 6 times. Every time we played them, they beat us. They've averaged 51 points per game every time we've played.
Yep.
So we definitely have our work cut out for us, but it's a huge challenge. We go over there and knock off a traditional power in our conference, and we leave 1-0 for the week, but with the best team in school history. So a lot to play for this week, and I think our kids are excited about it.
Yeah, there certainly is a lot kind of to play for here in this final week. And you talked about the best team in program history. You would have the best winning percentage after the season comes to an end if you would pick up one more win this week. Kind of keeping the guys, I guess, not obviously they don't have a problem being motivated, but kind of keeping those emotions in check. Because I think for the senior group, we've seen kind of how emotional this kind of run has been. Because this is not, I think, something that these guys necessarily saw when they came in. And they've really kind of put their nose to the grindstone and turned this program into something special. How do you kind of keep that in check and keep the eye on the prize as you head to this final week?
Well, I think they'll do a good job with that because, keeping all those things in check is what put us in this position.
Yeah.
And we've just got to continue to do what we've done to get us in this place. The senior class, there's 7 seniors on this team. I'd have to go back and look, but they probably came in with about 50 guys when they showed up as freshmen.
Yeah.
There's 6 of them left. Mario transferred in. But their first 2 years here, they were a part of the 12th losingest program in all of college football.
Yeah.
They were in the bottom 9% with wins and losses in all of college football. That's as bad as it gets.
Yeah.
And for those 6 guys, 7 counting Mario transferring in, to be able to be a part of that, and at the same time lead with the first back-to-back winning seasons in school history and potentially the best record in school history, speaks volumes to their character. So I think their leadership and the way they go about their business is going to allow them to keep all those emotions in check. At the same time, the last game of the year for your seniors, you're playing for something significant. It is emotional, and there's a lot of team meetings and moments that really get to you, and kind of make you focus and on the things of the past and how you got there and relive some memories. And you need to do that. Those things are special. But when you kick it off on Saturday at 1 o'clock, it's back to work and it's all business. We talk to these guys all the time about being strong, tough, professional, stoic, mature men. And that's who I think these guys are.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Let's talk about ETBU a little bit more in depth. This opponent, obviously, powerhouse traditionally, and you've talked about some of those name brand programs that Belhaven faces every season. Texas Lutheran, UMHB, Hardin-Simmons, ETBU's in that category. I think if you look at the Tiger season, I don't think it's gone quite to how they would normally draw it up. But this is still a football team that can beat really anybody that they play any given Saturday. How are you prepping for this ETBU team?
Well, just like we would anybody else. Our kids know who they are. They don't need any extra motivation because of the name brand of it. But we're just going about our business. We're going through our process. Today's Wednesday. We'll work on third down and see what they do and show up Saturday just like we always do. But they are talented. They're fast. They're physical. They always are. They're pretty sound on defense. They don't do anything really exotic. They just line up and say, beat us. And that's what we're going to have to do. Same thing on the other side of the ball. They've kind of evolved a little bit the last couple of years. They had a quarterback, Brian Baca, for a few years, who was as good as anybody in Division III football, who's off to a great coaching career now up at Austin Peay. But when he was there, he could sling it around like nobody's business. So they've changed their identity just a little bit offensively, but they give you a lot of challenges and things you have to be prepared for.
From the Blazers into this, what can we kind of expect watching this game? I know there's going to be a lot of eyes glued to this one. What can we kind of expect from you guys without giving too many secrets away like normal?
Well, it's funny. I talked to Coach Maper, the head coach at East Texas Baptist, yesterday, and he was kind of joking about some things he's going to do. And I said, well, I can tell you this. I'm handing the ball to number 1. Yeah. So we've got to just be us. We've got to play Belhaven football. That's establish a run, take our shots when they're there, take advantage of them, and do what we do. Yes, they're a name brand powerhouse traditionally in our conference. But I think when you play those games to try to reinvent yourself and do anything different would be foolish. Just stick to what got us here. Run the ball, take advantage of our shots, play fast, physical, hard-nosed defense that gets after folks, and be sound in the kicking game, and I think we'll be in good shape. Yeah,
the Blazers will head to Marshall, Texas this weekend, 1 p.m. kickoff in Marshall, taking on ETBU, looking to finish off the season on a high note and potentially wrap up the winningest season in Belhaven history. Would love to see that happen. Coach, thanks for jumping on. A great week at McMurray. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks, Kenneth.